Hey, and what is going on, everybody? It's Scion Life back here with another video. I've been sick for the past couple days, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds weird, but this afternoon I have started to feel a little bit better, so I figured I would get this video out to you guys. Today we are going to be talking about which car is better, which car should you buy between the Nissan 400Z and the new Mk5 Supra. And since these cars are going to be around the same price point, I figured I would go ahead and go through the styling, the powertrain, which includes the engine and the suspension, and then just my overall thoughts on the two cars. If you like this kind of content, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let me know down in the comments below. If you had $45,000, which one would you pick, the Mk5 Supra or the Nissan 400Z? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with the video. And so starting off with the styling of these two cars, let's start with the Nissan 400Z. Now I must admit I'm a bit of a Toyota fanboy. I own a GT86 myself. But Nissan on this 400Z absolutely killed it. It matched all the hype, all of the expectations that we wanted from it. I mean, just look at this car. It is so gorgeous. It's just a modern rendition of the old 240Zs from back in the day. And there are so many throwbacks to the old Datsuns, like the taillights, for example, and the overall shape, the way it kind of bubbles over the cabin and then goes down into a web shape into the front. And now, while it's great that Nissan was able to incorporate styling points from the old Datsuns back in the day into the new 400Z, I was really impressed with how they incorporated styling from the 350Z and the 370Z, which are very good selling cars in today's market, especially here in the States, into the 400Z. And I mean, everything from the taillights to the side profile to the front fascia that looks so aggressive. It was such a great mix in between the old Datsuns and the new Zs, and I think that this car is going to sell super well. The only styling thing that kind of has me thrown off about this car is how big the grille is. Now, we've seen this a bit with BMW now. Their grills have started to get absolutely humongous on their cars, and some other car manufacturers are going this way. I personally do not like big grills on cars, but I think it does fit the 400Z. That would be my only complaint about the outside of this car, though. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I wish I had $45,000 saved up to spend on this car because, man, it's going to be awesome whenever it comes out. So now let's talk about the styling on the new Mk5 Supra. The old Supras from back in the day, like the Mk3, the original Supra, you know, they were kind of a bit more angular. That was early 90s, you know, mid to late 80s. Kind of that time period, it was just a style at the time. But whenever the Mk4 Supra came out, it was very flowy. It had a lot of soft curves, and it was a very beautiful car, to be honest. They're a bit overpriced, but it is a good looking car nonetheless. And even though this is manufactured in a BMW factory, more on that in a second, I do feel like they had the perfect mix of curves and soft, flowy body panels with angular, modern, aggressive stance on the car. Especially if you look at like the front of the new Supra, it's very angular, you know, it's very aggressive, it looks very intimidating. And then you span out to the side profile, you have this nice beautiful rear fender arch going over the back, flows into the nice ducktail spoiler. I just think they really combined what a modern Supra should be with the styling characteristics that made the Mk4 Supra so iconic. And so to directly compare these two with the styling, I would have to say they're just about dead even. I would have to give a little bit of give to the Mk5 Supra. I feel like it may look a smidge better than the 400Z, but you know, the 400Z is very beautiful. The new Supra is very beautiful despite what some people may say, and I think that they're just about dead even in this metric. So now, enough about looking at these cars from the outside. Let's dive underneath the hood. As Paul Walker would say, pop the hood. So with the new 400Z, they're dropping in a twin turbocharged 3-liter V6 engine. And this engine is derived directly from other cars in the Nissan lineup. Actually, I think they're in Infinitis, but you know, Nissan owns them. So While all the specs haven't quite been ironed out on the new 400Z, I would guess that this car is probably going to come with somewhere in between 300 to 400 horsepower, probably towards the higher end. And this is great for a car that only costs $45,000 at its starting price. This is going to be a very potent engine. And obviously, since it comes from factory twin turbocharged, it is going to be able to handle boost really well. I hope that the turbos that they throw on this engine are good and can handle a lot of power. I'd imagine you could probably get this engine somewhere upwards around 500 to 600 horsepower before you would start to have any issues with it. And this is great news for the 400Z and anybody who's looking at getting one. Because you could be comparing this car to the Mk5 Supra, which has a 3-liter inline-6 engine with just a single turbo. This engine makes around 382 horsepower, but I have seen builds with downpipe and a tune that are pushing upwards of like 500, 550 wheel horsepower, and that is crazy numbers on just a downpipe and a tune. And of course, there are those Toyota Supra fanboys over the original Supra that are mad because Toyota did not design a specific engine for the new Supra. But I think that this BMW power plant is really great. There are tests out there that have been done on this engine that say it can handle upwards of 1,000 wheel horsepower. I don't know quite if I believe it can handle that much. I mean, just on a stock engine. But there are performance, tuning companies out there who have tested these engines up to that metric. And of course, there is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine for the base model Supra, but I'm not really comparing that one because it's basically just a GT86. I'm just going to be talking about, just the 3-liter, comparing it to the 3-liter twin turbocharged engine in the 400Z. So my thoughts on this, I believe that Nissan will have to show me something with this engine first, because right now, this is a great engine for BMW that Toyota decided to drop into the Supra. It handles a lot of power. It's really easy to make a lot of boost, make a lot of power with this engine. And, Nissan is going to have their work cut out for them to get an engine that will compete with the BMW power plant that's in the new Supra. But of course, the 400Z will come in an optional manual if you want it. The Toyota Supra does not. And so because of this, I figure they'll probably handle about the same. They're around the same price point. They're going to have the same kind of audience. I think I would also give them, a dead even tie for this one too. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what Nissan provides in the performance category for the engine before we can get a true analysis on how these two platforms compare. But for now, it's just dead even. And I'd even be willing to give the Nissan 400Z a bit of an edge in this category just because it comes in that manual. Man, driving a 6-speed manual, there's just nothing like it. An automatic transmission just doesn't have the feeling that driving a manual does, at least to me anyways. I know that there are some people who really like automatics, and there are a lot of great dual clutch automatics out there today, of course, like PDK with Porsche. Man, that thing is fast. That is some serious lap times that transmission is putting down. But personally, I just prefer the 6-speed manual, and so for this category, the platform, I would give the edge to the 400Z. And so taking all of this into account, I want to give you a bit of an overall of what I think of these two cars. I think that the Supra had potential to be something legendary like the Mk4 Supra. It didn't quite hit the mark. It's a great car, don't get me wrong. If you want to go buy one, more power to you. I see one on the road, I'm like, hey man, that's a cool car, I'll take a picture. The new Supra is very cool. But personally for me, this new 400Z, it just hits every level of nostalgia. It has every bit of the old Datsuns that we all knew and loved, with the modern, features from the 370Z, the good handling for modern cars. It's going to have a great power plant in it, and it comes with a manual. Personally, if it was up to me and I had $45,000 to blow in a nice sports car, I would get this 400Z. I would hold out for another year and just wait on this 400Z to come out. Unless something, just super drastic happened, like this 400Z's platform just absolutely lays an egg. For right now, I'm definitely going with this 400Z. And if I had the money, that would be what I would get. And now, of course, this is just my subjective opinion. You don't have to listen to what I say. I'd imagine most of you do not have $45,000 to blow on a nice sports car, but you just wanted to hear somebody compare the two, so I went ahead and did it. And, that's my closing thoughts. I love the 400Z, love the Supra. I just think the 400Z edges it out in the end when you look at, the big picture, the styling, platform, engine, transmission, handling, everything. I just think the 400Z takes the cake here. But thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, and if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing and following along for more content like this. But for now, this is Scion Life, signing out.